This year, without E3 to get us hyped for upcoming video games and gaming technology, we're left to find other avenues to fill the void. Luckily, Geoff Keighley's Summer Game Fest just took place, and it was packed with a ton of new video game announcements. We'll be covering the biggest reveals from the event, as well as other major video game news in today's video. First up, Callisto Protocol gameplay. Way back at the end of 2020, a new studio by the name of Striking Distance Studios released a trailer for their new sci-fi title, The Callisto Protocol. In that trailer, you get a glimpse of a prison cell and its tenant struggling to understand the strange noises and lights outside of the cell. It wasn't long before we're greeted to the sight of a terrifying multi-jawed human-alien hybrid that mauls the prisoner's face off. It was short and sweet, and it knew exactly how to maximize interest. Throughout the short reveal trailer, there were hints to the long-dormant video game series Dead Space, which many remember fondly and have eagerly awaited a sequel to. And from the looks of the trailer, many believed that that day had come. Never mind the fact that the actual co-creator of the Dead Space series is directing this new IP. Now, at Summer Game Fest, we finally get a good look at what the game is actually going to be. And wouldn't you know it, no one that watched the first cinematic was truly surprised by how similar the game looked and felt to the original Dead Space series. That didn't stop anyone from loving what they saw, though. From the HUD that's integrated into your player's character suit rather than just being plastered into the corners of your screen, to the over-the-shoulder camera angle, the game feels like it should be called Dead Space 4. It also comes complete with its own version of necromorphs that require dismemberment to take down. We don't know if it's going to be different enough to truly warrant being a new game in its own right, but one thing's for sure, Dead Space fans can finally get their action horror kicks from a game that doesn't look 2 generations old. Next, COD Modern Warfare 2 gameplay. We're sure no one was really surprised by Call of Duty's presence at the Game Fest, but that doesn't mean no one was hyped for it. The COD franchise has been pumping out titles annually ever since Call of Duty 2, way back in 2005, and this year is no different, with Infinity Ward gearing up for a fully fledged sequel to their 2019 reboot of the Modern Warfare series. Modern Warfare 2019 revamped the classic Call of Duty design with more realistic animations, character designs, and weapon models that were leaning heavily into what the Battlefield series has been doing for a while. It also placed a greater emphasis on tactical gunplay, with one of the most anticipated missions being a night vision siege of a terrorist outpost. It was raw and tense, and everyone absolutely loved it. They followed it up with 2 other titles since then, but everyone's been looking forward to the return of Captain Price. Now, 2 years later, we finally get to see him in action again, along with previous series fan favorites Soap and Ghost. Activision took the Summer Game Fest as an opportunity to showcase some actual gameplay of the new title, with a new take on the very first mission that kicked the Modern Warfare series off, Crew Expendable. Back then, it was a tight, tense, and exciting combat experience, and in this game, it's like they've reimagined that mission the way they've always wanted it to be, with all the bells and whistles that their new engine can muster. Modern Warfare 2 is set to release in October of this year, and we can't wait to see Ghost back in action after only brief glimpses in the previous game. Next, Bethesda meets out Starfield. Bethesda is, at this point, an RPG giant that needs no introduction to video game enthusiasts. The company first made its name with the fantasy game The Elder Scrolls Arena back in 1994, which would eventually blossom into a very lucrative RPG series that is currently awaiting another installment. They also acquired and then built upon the Fallout apocalyptic RPG series. Unfortunately, though, most avid RPG players have noticed a decline in the quality of their writing and gameplay mechanics, and the last entries in the Fallout and Elder Scrolls series have been lackluster compared to previous installments. However, back in the summer of last year, they announced a new RPG IP called Starfield through a teaser trailer. Most of what we saw then was just in-engine, slow-panning footage of the interior of a spaceship and its captain. It only served to indicate that this new title was going to take place in space, but didn't reveal what the game would actually entail. At Summer Game Fest, though, enthusiastic viewers finally got some gameplay. Starfield isn't just a new title for the developer, it's kind of the final straw for a majority of disillusioned fans. Many were waiting for gameplay to inform their decision to keep caring about the developer or not, considering the lack of effort they've suffered through in previous games. And we've got to say, we're expecting this to be the match that sets Bethesda ablaze. For starters, a lot of the dialogue and character interactions felt like they were ripped out of Fallout 4, which is not really a good thing in our opinion, and the remaining content feels like it was a blatant copy of No Man's Sky, though it remains to be seen if that will ship the way No Man's Sky did too. The one saving grace to this mediocre gameplay reveal might be the modular shipbuilding component, which is pretty much the one thing no one else is doing that they should be. And now, Warhammer 40k RPG reveal. The Warhammer 40k universe has had a ton of entries in a variety of media, from movies to books to video games. In the case of video games alone, there are so many different types of Warhammer games that no matter where where your interests lie, there's always something for you to get lost in its lore. The franchise has had RTSs, FPSs, third-person hack and slashes, and much more. But over 3 decades, the game has never had a single true RPG experience. Until now. At Summer Game Fest, the folks at Owlcat Games revealed that they have been working on a CRPG called Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, and we've got to say we're pretty excited. The 40k universe is packed with lore and comprises a gritty dark atmosphere that is hardly matched by any others, and this game gives us the opportunity to create personalized characters to inhabit that world. The combat is turn-based, like Divinity Original Sin, and it looks like it's going to be quite challenging, which is exactly what CRPG players need. Not much is known about the story, but we did get a look at a diverse range of environments that range from scenic forests to the grand halls of the Imperium of Man. We can't wait to get a deeper glimpse into this new installment in the franchise, and to put ourselves in the horrifying universe of 40k. Now, in other news, Nintendo Summer Game Fest absence. Nintendo was notably absent from this year's huge video game convention that wasn't E3, but sources have confirmed that the company will be hosting its own Nintendo Direct conference to showcase its major titles and exclusives that only non-Nintendo audiences might scoff at. The expectation is that we'll be seeing Nintendo pulling out its reveals on stage sometime later in June. At this point, it's almost entirely certain that we'll be seeing a sequel to the Switch's Breath of the Wild, but we can only speculate as to what the story would entail. At the end of the original title, Link defeated Calamity Ganon and restored Hyrule to order, so we're not sure who the big bad is going to be this time around. We might also see an announcement for Metroid Prime 4. It's been 3 years since there were rumors about the game being scrapped and its development restarted, so it's definitely been enough time for the company to cook something up for fans. Next, Ubisoft skips Summer Game Fest. Just as Nintendo has opted for having their own private conference to deliver a showcase of their upcoming products, so too is Ubisoft. They've completely avoided Summer Game Fest and hope now to organize their own conference sometime later in this year. Considering Ubisoft doesn't have enough titles to warrant an entire conference, it's possible that they'd allow Xbox and Nintendo to showcase some of their content on that platform as well. Lastly, E3 returning 2023. 2022 marks the second time in 3 years that E3 has been absent as the primary stage for showcasing new video game titles and technology. Most have figured it's the final death throes for the event, but in a recent interview, the president of the event's organizing body stated that the event will be back for the next year. That's a wrap for this video. Which Summer Game Fest announcements are you most excited about? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.